Hi everybody, my name is Pete O'Neill and I'm a bass player and teacher in New York City as well as Fairfield County in Connecticut. Recently I covered Charles Berthoud's Cello Strings on Bass Sound Unbelievable. It was a piece I fell in love with right away. I transposed it to standard so that I could play that, and after I released it, some of you folks said you'd be interested in a tutorial with the tab. So this is my first tutorial video. Huge thanks to Charles for giving me his blessing on making this video as well. If you haven't seen his original, that's down in the description below. My video will be there as well. First we'll take a look at the fretless video up at full speed. Then I'll show you guys a slowed down version on my fretted bass with the tab. And then after that we'll break down some of the techniques used and how you can use them in your own playing as well. So thanks again, and please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions at the end, please leave them in the video and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Now we're going to take a look at 4 of the different techniques that are kind of typical in the construction of this piece. Okay, first thing we're going to take a look at is measure 9. Okay, we're looking at outlining the A minor chord. Okay, so with my left hand, I'm actually forming an A minor bar chord shape, sort of like a guitar player would do. Okay, my left hand index is covering all 4 of the strings on the 5th fret. Okay, then I've got my index finger on the 7th fret of the A string covering the E, that's the 5th of the chord. My pinky is going to be covering the 7th fret of the D string, that's the octave. And then I've got my minor third covered with the C. Okay? With my right hand, I'm actually going to be doing just chord tones here, really. So I've got my minor third, again, with the 17th fret up here on the G string. I've got my 5th on the E, that's the 14th fret of the D string. Okay? And then after that, I go to the second part. I'm hitting the 7th, okay, that's the G note, 17th fret of the D string, and then the 15th fret covers our C again. So that is my lower octave of that minor third. So whole thing together is going to sound like this. Okay? Okay, now you can use this for really any arpeggio you want. And I've got in the description a few exercises actually based on this and the other patterns that are working. So click that in the description below and you can download it. So just for example, if we were to take that pattern and move it back to the tonic, so that's our G major 7, right? Then I can move up to my A minor. Okay, up to the B and C. Okay, now you can see I'm sort of like running out of room up here. But I can move over to my D up on the A string if I want. Okay, moving up to my E. My F sharp minor 7 flat 5. And then even repeating the G if I want. Okay, so that's our first pattern. So yeah, take a look at that, and one thing that you could do is practice that in all keys. Right now we're still working in that sort of 6 feel, so you'd have to make some adjustments if you're going to move it into a 4/4 feel, but again, one thing at a time. Maybe we'll do that in the next video. Okay, let's move on. So the next thing I wanted us to take a look at was measure 15. Okay, this is actually part of the piece that took me a really long time to get up to speed. But I wanted to show you guys how to play it because it's really cool and it spans a huge amount of range in a very, very short amount of time. So we've got... Okay. Right, that's the whole thing. Okay, so you can see, once again, like the previous exercise, I'm starting with my major 3rd, okay, all the way up on top on the 16th fret of our G chord, okay. On my left hand, again, I'm just hitting the root, so I'm hitting both of those at the same time. Okay, first 4 notes, major 3rd with the root, going to the 5th, and then I'm pulling off again to the octave, still the 5th. Root, 5th, octave, 3rd, 5th, octave. Okay, then I'm sliding back down to the 5th, going to the 6th, and then to the 3rd. Okay, now this really works because he's actually transitioning to the next chord in the song, but just for the exercise purposes, we'll still keep the pattern the same way. And again, once you get it fast, so you can take that again, just like before, move that up the chord scale too. Okay, so here we are, we're moving that section up to A. Then again, moving it up to B. So that's our third scale in that particular pattern. Again, take a look at the exercises, see if you can go all the way up the chord scale. Okay. Moving on, let's take a quick look at measure 26. So this is a simple 2-octave run that we're looking at here, with some minor variations. Okay, I'm starting this time on my left hand. So starting with my root 3rd, that's G and B. Okay, right hand going to the 5th and octave. Okay, back to 5th, and then pulling off. This is, I'm basically just pulling off to the open E. It's not in the chord, but again, it's really acting more as a rhythmic device as opposed to another chord tone. The second iteration of that, start with the root, going to the 5th this time, and then, okay, 3rd, and then octave this time. Back to the 3rd, and then open to the D. That gives us our other chord tone, the 5th, okay? So root, 3rd, 5, octave, 5, open, root, 5, 3rd, octave, 3rd, open. Okay, we can, again, just like everything else, move that up the chord scale, okay? Start to figure out how to use these in different chord progressions. Okay, then up to B if we want. Etc., etc. Okay, check it out in the exercise as well. The last one we're going to take a look at is just moving up the inversions in the same chord. It's not exactly that, but it's pretty close. I'll explain in a second. This is somewhat similar to what a piano player might do, you know, some sort of an arpeggiated flourish to help create a little bit of extra tension, and often, you know, at the end of a song, just like in this song. So here, we're starting off with the kind of the same way we started off the last exercise, okay? But this time we're moving our hand all the way down here for the 5 in the octave. That's starting on my root, okay? Then I'm going to actually move up to the third. In this case, we're not actually playing a G. We're playing just a B minor chord, okay? But it's sort of acting like the first inversion, you know, the G chord starting on the third. Because it's in the sequence, and you'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Okay, so we got our B, 7th fret on the E, D, that's our minor third on the 5th fret of the A, 9th fret, we got our F sharp, and then our B octave. Okay, this time we're starting on our second inversion of the G chord, okay? In this case, we're doing a slightly different fingering. Okay, so I'm starting on my 5, the D, right? Going to my root on the 10th fret, okay? So I got 10 on the D, 10 on the G, my 14, that's my B, 12, that's my D. Again, so I'm going 5, 1, 3, 5, and back down. Okay, and the last one is just a very simple octave. It's actually the octave of our first position that we were doing before. So we had this one down here, and now we've got. Okay, so now this, especially if you've got a little bit of extra time on one particular chord, this might be something that you want to use in your improvisation instead of one of the other exercises that you might have to repeat, because this time you've got actually 4 different iterations that you can do. Okay, so again, we've got our G. Okay, let's try it on A. Okay, so this time A minor. Okay, this time I'm going to what would be my third inversion, but this time we're just going to a C chord, really. Now I've got my A second inversion, and okay, you can do the same thing again, moving up and up and up and up. Now the goal of all of this is to see if we can start learning this and doing this over progressions itself. Charles's book on tapping is amazing. The one thing that it was missing for me was actually some improvisational opportunities. So get the real book or download some chord charts, or if you have iReal Pro or something like that, see if you can work some of these patterns into just a regular chord progression where you're completely improvising, comping, you know, where you might practice your walking bass lines. Try one of these tapping patterns and see if it works for you. Yeah, I think that's it. So thank you guys so much. Like I said, in the description below, we've got Charles's video, we've got my video. We also have the exercises that you can check out. Unfortunately, I think for copyright reasons, I can't actually share the tab and distribute it to you guys in case Charles ever decides he wants to sell it or something like that. But you do have it here. You can work on it. And as always, if you have questions for me, please hit me up. I always try to get back to everybody if I can as soon as possible, and I'm a teacher, so I like to help people. Yeah, and like, comment, subscribe, help me out with the algorithm, etc. I hope you liked the video. I hope it was informative, and I hope that this, you know, helps you do some new things on bass that you may have been curious about. The better the world's bass players are, the better life will be for all of us. So thank you again, and I'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye.